So today we're going to look at real quick how to use Turnitin with Canvas. So we're going to create it like we would any other assignment. So for this one, this is going to be my student's weather essay. So go ahead and add that. And we'll go into edit as normal. We'll put a description in here later for them. Number of points, we'll say it's 10 points and we'll call it a test grade. Then for submission type, we'll go to external tool, find, and then we're going to look for Turnitin. And so it's down almost at the bottom. So click Turnitin, select. Then we'll give it our due date. So I'm going to make this due, let's say here, and then we'll hit save. All right, so after you've done that, and it's within Canvas, so now you're going to need to load it into a new window. So when you do that, now you're going to be able to do all of the settings for Turnitin. So some of it is linked in, like it says here, some have been disabled and can only be changed in the LMS, so in Canvas. So like for example here, I can't change the title, I can't change the grade or the due date. This is one really nice thing over Google Assignments is that it does link and it's tied in there. I could give it some additional instructions here if I wanted to as well. It might be good to have the instructions in both places, both on Canvas and within Turnitin. For enable peer mark, that's something with peer editing. If you're familiar with it, great. If not, I would say don't worry about it or ask your curriculum person. Then there are some optional settings that you can click. And so we've got a lot of different more advanced things within here. So submit papers to. So there's two different options here. One is the standard paper repository. This is where the repository that Turnitin is going to use. So anytime your students turn in papers here, you're telling Turnitin, okay, these papers can be used to check for plagiarism against other papers that might be submitted. If you select do not store the submitted papers, Turnitin will still check the papers your students turn in for plagiarism, but the papers your students turn in will not be part of that database for Turnitin to use. So I would recommend you always leave it as standard paper repository, unless for some reason maybe you have them put some kind of identifying information or something like that in there. Then you may not want that out for anybody to potentially find. Allow submissions of any file type. If you want, you can go through and require certain ones, whether you want them to turn it in later or not. Enable grammar checking. And then this is all the different grammar checking type stuff that you can do. You can attach a rubric, which if you have one on Canvas, I believe it might sync, it might not. That's something to play with. To be honest, I've not really used Turnitin very much. But yeah, so it lets you do it there. And you can't, I do know when I played with it, this does not sync to your Canvas. So they've got some just standard ones that might be used for, you know, just in general there. So I'm not going to attach a rubric. Compare it against the student paper repository. So all of the papers that have been turned in. So you can choose to select or unselect that if for whatever reason maybe you don't want it to check against those. Current and archived website content. So looking for, websites, periodicals, journals, and publications. Again, looking against those things. So you can kind of narrow down what it is you want it to compare to. Generate similarity reports, so you can allow them to view similarity reports. Exclude bibliographic materials, so stuff from their bibliography, have it not look, same thing with quotes. And if it's just a little tiny small source, so like just a little blurb of information, it would potentially knock that out. Exclude assignment template, so that's something that's going to be an advanced thing that you can play with. And then you can hit save here to save these settings for future use, so you don't have to go back and do it every time. So we're going to leave it pretty much as is. We'll hit submit, and settings were saved. So now it should theoretically be good to go.